thumbnail is actually a lie. Hello bookish besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through every single book I read in the month of October. I was just joking when I said that the thumbnail was a lie. I just meant that I didn't read any of these books physically, so obviously none of those books are what was pictured in the thumbnail. I read everything either via audiobook or through my Kindle. I was back in my audiobook era this month. I absolutely adored it. So normally I have a hard time retaining information from audiobooks because I'm a visual learner. So this time I actually make like a notes app for every single book that I audiobook, and I like take notes while reading it so I can remember what happened in the book, and it's really been helping me. So if anybody else has that issue, that's how to semi-solve it. So let's get right into it. The first book that I finished this month was The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. This one was on my spooky reading blog, and I did like more of an in-depth review. I'm not gonna go crazy in-depth. I'll give you my rating, a little synopsis, and what I thought of it. This one was this woman inherited a house from her aunt that she's like never heard of. So her and her cat move into this house, and everyone thinks that her like aunt was creepy, and a light always went like on in the top of the house every Friday, so everyone had like their mysteries about it. And then she finds out that there was like this gruesome like whole family murder that happened in the house, and creepy things start to happen, and then the story unravels from there. I gave this one a 4 stars. I really enjoyed Darcy Coates' writing. I think that she made it creepy and paranormal without making it corny, which I really appreciated. And I think that the way she described things was creepy and disgusting and gory, and it made my skin crawl, which is not really easy to do for me. I'm not like really, like a description has to be really vivid for me to be like, ugh. So you can tell it was a good book because I was literally cringing every time I was like listening to it. I was like, oh. The pace was pretty fast. The only thing I have to say about it was that the first half was pretty slow. It was nothing creepy was going on. It was more just her story, figuring out what was going on in this house. The next one I read was also an audiobook. It was Hazelwood's new novella that's only on audiobook right now, and that is Two Can Play. So this is about 2 video game designers that are from rivaling companies, and they have a long history of kind of not getting along. And so now when their 2 companies want to work on a video game together, they go on this like winter retreat, and their romance blooms from there. It was your typical Hazelwood novella. If you've ever read any of the Under One Roof or any of those novellas by her, then this is basically the same thing. I thought that the video game take on it was very fun to hear about like a new industry that I'm not really involved with, but my husband is. I really liked the setting in like the winter cabin. It would be perfect to read around like the cozy winter time because it was super aesthetic. Like think like a gigantic, beautiful cabin villa in the woods, drinking hot chocolate, skiing, all that stuff. The romance was cringy as always, but that's okay. I love Hazelwood for a cringy romance. But the miscommunication she always does, where the female main character thinks that the male main character hates her guts, is getting old and it kills me. I wish she would do something new. I gave that one a 3 stars. Next is Phantasma, which I read on my Kindle. This one took me a while to get through, but it did wind up being a really beloved read to me. I know that there are some mixed opinions. People either love it or hate it. This one is about Phantasma, which is a moving devil house that's run by the Prince of Devils, and you play all these horrible trials that the demons and devils create, and you play to be the last one standing and win the devil's favor. So our main character Ophelia enters because she's trying to settle some family debt and follow her sister. She meets a phantom Blackwell that he helps her through the trials, and she helps him find whatever is tethering him to the house so he can be released. So their romance happens from there. I really loved the OCD representation in this book. I think it was the best that I've ever read, and that's because the author Kaylie Smith has OCD, so she knows what she's talking about. But again, best representation I've ever read. I liked the New Orleans spooky street vibes. I really liked how the trials had high stakes, and I liked the descriptions of the trials. They were very gory and unique in my mind. I liked the descriptions of the devils as well. I think it was unique that they each had like a different devil's mark and that they all looked so different. And then I did like Blackwell. He was a little bit too much of a player for me, but he did tone down, and then the ending was atrocious. The last like 30 pages killed me, and I wish I could have given it 5 stars, but the ending was so corny and felt rushed and awful. I gave that one a 4 star. Then we move on to another Darcy Coates novel. I read Where He Can't Find You, and this one was freaky. It involved a couple teenagers, and in their town of Doubtful, Illinois, there's a serial killer that takes people and cuts them up and resews their body back together with other bodies, possibly with red thread, and they think it is this man Charles Vickers that's around town. They just learn as much as they can about it in order to keep themselves safe until Abby, the main character, her sister Hope, goes missing, and her dad already went missing 3 years ago, and her mom kind of went insane from that. You follow the Jackrabbits, which is the group of friends, figuring out all they can about the Stitcher, going into the mines and trying to save Hope. The revelation of the Stitcher is creepy. When Abby and Reese are down in the mines, it is like one of the most horrifying things I was reading. I read this one on audiobook, by the way, so I was sitting there cringing at work, being like, my heart racing, just wanting to go faster, because the story was so fast-paced. There was always something happening, always something lurking, which is probably the creepiest thing to me, is like when some of these kids were in the woods and something was just like lurking and they could kind of see something. And then the descriptions of the monster were nothing like I've ever heard of before. So I liked, again, that it was paranormal, but not corny. And it was truly horrifying. I also gave this one a 4 stars. The next one I read was Carving for Cara, Dana Leeann. I actually met Dana Leeann at Sinners and Stardust. I got a print from her book and I was like, wow, I'm really gonna love this. So it's a spooky, sexy Halloween novella where this guy falls in love with a girl at like first sight, and he's like, okay, she wants to be chased. So he follows her, stalks her, kills her eggs, and chases her in a cornfield, and then there's a lot of spicy stuff that happens. And while I liked the stuff that happened, there were things that freaked me out and got a little too dark, and like I can go pretty dark, but there was something that truly freaked me out about this. The first thing was that he didn't even make himself known. Like, she made eye contact with him in a coffee shop and then they had a moment, which is fine, but he didn't make himself known at like the party he stalked her at. And I feel like if he would have made himself known, then it would have been a little sexier, because then she would have been like, okay, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's not this guy. He kind of just got like creepily obsessed with her, and then he carved her ex's head into a jack-o'-lantern. And like, while that's like wicked cool gory vibes, I just still didn't like the context in which it was in. And now I've read Haunting Adeline and I loved that book, so there was just something about this book that was super creepy. Like, he was truly just a stalker, didn't make himself known, and then just appeared out of nowhere, like having sex with her and stealing her. So I gave this one a 3 stars. I liked the vibe of like masked man, you know, chasing, but the lines get a little too blurry with dub non-con, so not really for me. So since that one ended on a cliffhanger, I did go and read the second one, which was Little Nightmare, and I wish that I could forget this book. I want to read you my review. I said, I want to open my cranium and scrub my brain clean of this book. Someone please help me forget what I just read. And when I say that, I truly mean, I said that to my husband when I finished it. I literally want to open the top of my head and scrub my brain with like a bottle cleaner, because I wish I never read that book. I gave it a 1 star, and I think this is one of the first times in the history of me reading that I've given something a 1 star. While Carving for Cara was like a little on the edge of being too dark, this one was like through the fucking roof disgusting. First, he captures her and keeps her hostage in her own house, and I don't know, like, he was just, she was liking this the whole time, but I just still think it was disgusting. He was keeping her hostage. There was something so gross that I cannot even talk about on YouTube or even say out loud. What happened in the beginning of this book, it was so repulsive that like I literally wanted to throw up. And so he keeps her hostage, and then just too many disgusting things happen. Like, really too many disgusting things. I don't even want to talk about it ever again. I truly want to forget what I read. So we're not going to talk about this any further. Just know that, please don't read it. Even if you like the first one, don't read it. That's my review. On to a lighter, happier note. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and it has my heart. I gave it like a 4.5 stars, and truly such a good book. The characters were well written. The story was fast-paced, there was mystery, there was love, there was a developing relationship, there was a lot of backstory for these characters. I loved it. So our main character, Jeannie, was like this big city law firm assistant or something like that. She finds her boss dead at his desk and she completely freaks out. So she goes and takes over her aunt's cafe while her aunt is on a self-discovery journey in like the Bahamas or something. And she takes over the cafe in Dream Harbor, which is like a small cute little town. So I imagined Stars Hollow the entire time because I know that there was like a lot of inspiration taken from Stars Hollow and Gilmore Girls in this. And she makes instant friends. She also meets Logan, which he's the small town farmer, and he's adorable. And she instantly connects with him, but he has a troubled past with the last girl that he was with. And the two girls that Jeannie makes friends with kind of say, like, stay away from him if you're not planning on staying around. Like, he's been really hurt recently. So we have that going on. Then all these mysteries are happening at the cafe. Things keep breaking, things keep going wrong. And then we just have Jeannie's self-discovery. I love her relationship with her brother. They're very close. And she's just kind of discovering who she is without the city and her work and what it's like to have an actual fun life and a work-life balance. And I truly love this. The writing was so quaint. And like I said, even though it was a romance, it was still fast-paced. Things were happening, scenes weren't drawn out. I didn't love the miscommunication and lack of trust from Logan, but he was hurt, but still, I didn't love it. I thought that could have been done a little better, even though it was resolved pretty fast. But like I said, I give that one a 4.5. I really liked it, and I'm really excited to continue that series with the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore as well as the Christmas Tree Farm. Now, I'm filming this a little early. It is only the 28th of October, so I still have the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. And I will be finishing probably 2 or 3 more books, but I'll just talk about those and what I'm thinking about them so far. The first one is an audiobook, and that is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. Now, I am enjoying this one. I think it is extremely slow. It's very lengthy, I guess, for a romance. I think it's more of a super slow burn literary fiction romance. So we have a woman that's struggling to be a comedian. She's very brash. She does drugs. She drinks. She doesn't want any kind of emotional relationship. She just wants physical relationships with people and doesn't like to stay the night, and she's done. And then we have Josh, and he's the main male character. He is a chef, and he is also getting over a breakup. So they keep meeting every so often in their lives in different scenarios. And then it's like right person, wrong time constantly. And I just don't know if it's for me. So like their first meeting, he's her roommate's boyfriend, or they're sleeping with the same person because it's her roommate. She's sleeping with her roommate, he's sleeping with her roommate. And then we move on and he meets her at like a party, and then we move on and she's married and he meets her at a party. And then after her marriage fails, they stick together because he went through a breakup, and their friendship's kind of developing from there. Where we're at right now, they're just kind of working through their relationship. It's very frustrating, and now it's supposed to be like When Harry Met Sally, and I've never seen that, so maybe I'm missing the point of it, but to me it just seems frustrating. Even though it is kind of mimicking like a real life scenario, I just still think I'm bored, and maybe I don't like the characters enough. The main female character is very funny, and I find a lot of myself in her, where like she tries to be funny. Making people laugh is like the best thing she has, and she's very brash and forward and bold and boisterous and just doesn't care. So I do appreciate that she is like different from your regular female main character that's like docile and so sweet and cute, and all she wants is a boyfriend and stuff like that. But I don't know, I'm just not enjoying it. It's sitting at a 3 for me right now. We'll see if the ending makes up for it, but I only have like 2 hours left, and I don't think it's going to, but I don't know. And then the last one that I'm reading is on my Kindle, and that is The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monika Kim. I'm super enjoying this one. It's so well written. Right now, it's about a Korean family where the father leaves and the mother is like completely distraught, and the 2 daughters are trying to pick up the pieces, and the eldest daughter is slowly mentally unraveling, and she hates her mother's new boyfriend. He is disgusting. He ogles the girls. He fetishizes Asian women and is just a disgusting pig. It's basically, I would say it's like a literary fiction horror, because not only are we seeing how Ji-won goes through being treated as a Korean woman in America by just men and people in general who just assume things about her because of her race, as well as what she goes through as just a woman in America. How sexism is disgusting and horrible and runs rampant basically. And then we're also seeing her mentally unravel from stress, being left by her father, and also not being cared about by her mother basically. So she gets super obsessed with eyes, and the lines keep blurring between reality and dream world. She just is obsessed with eyes, and the imagery, which is kind of a pun, but no, seriously, the imagery of eyes is so creepy. Like, the author Monika Kim describes them as like wet. They fall out of people's heads in the dreams, and they like hit the floor with like a wet squishing sound. And then she also just vividly describes people's eyes and then eating the fish eyes. It's just so creepy. And there's something about the tone of her story which drives it so fast and adds so much tension. I don't know if it feels like in a horror movie where you're like, where they keep panning the camera like here and then there and then here and then there, and like this person talks and like that person starts talking automatically. So it just feels like you're going like all over the place. And I think the metaphorical reasoning for eyes is because like that's what men use to ogle you. That's like a part of why feminism is a thing, because of the way women look and the way men see them, and also the way people see Asian Americans, just the way everything is seen. So she's quickly unraveling, and I'm enjoying this book so much. I am almost done with it, so I'm thinking I'm gonna finish it up within the next day or two. I'm really enjoying that one. I think that could be like a solid 4.5, 5 stars based off of where the story goes, because it's not really going anywhere so far. We're just getting her slow, basically descent into madness, which is adding to the tension and the craziness of it all. We will definitely see what happens. Thank you for listening to the 7 definite books that I read in October, and the possible 10 that I will have read if I read the extra 3 that I'm in the middle of right now. Thank you guys for watching. As always, the support means the world to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future content. Leave a comment down below. If you don't know what to say, leave the knife emoji or an eyeball even, shall we? If not, just comment and tell me what you read in October, what your favorite book was, or if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. Happy reading, and as always, love you, bye!